Welcome to the channel, guys. So the N64 is one of my all-time favorite consoles. I do like the games, I do like the console itself, but I do not like the original N64 controller. I don't like this three-prong design. It looks like Nintendo just mashed two different controllers together and came up with this controller. It did some innovative stuff like the rumble, like this stick, analog stick. I like those, like the trigger, but I do not like this design. So either you have to hold it like this or you have to hold it like this for 2D games. I think that's what they were going for, but I wish there was an alternative, and there are. So here I have today three different alternatives for the N64 controller, and they are, all three of them are meant for a different kind of usage. So I'm going to go through all three of them and then compare them and then let you know which one is my favorite and which one I would recommend for what purposes. So to start off, I think that I'll go with this Retrobit Tribute N64. Now if you remember that Hori had a controller which looked just like this one, and many people actually really want that controller, but unfortunately nowadays it's really expensive. So if you want something like that, then your only option is either this or forking out a lot of dollars. So let's unbox this, take it out of the box and see what this controller is all about. It comes with different colors. I chose the red one because that looked the nicest to me, but it does come in different colors, so you can go with whichever you want. So that's all that's included in there. It does have a little bit better design. The analog stick is more similar to the GameCube rather than the N64, because it's a little like stub. It's not as high. The grip itself is similar to the N64, but it's more rubbery. The D-pad is in the center, so it is not a great controller if you are looking to play 2D games, but N64 was when the 3D games were quite new and everyone was riding the 3D bandwagon, so it makes sense at that time. It does have 4 triggers, but 2 of them are actually repetitions for the trigger. So these are the same buttons, but you can use either one, and it does support all of the other accessories that came with the N64 controller. So I like it. If you are looking for the Hori pad, then I would suggest go with this one. It retails for a decent price. The link is in the description if you want to buy this one, and that would really support the channel as well. Now compared to the original controller, the D-pad is obviously a bit smaller, but the buttons are actually quite similar sized. Even the start button is quite similarly sized, and these A and B and the C buttons are very similarly sized. And if your analog stick is wiggly like mine is here and you need a new controller for the N64, this is a very decent choice. I would suggest, I would definitely recommend this one, especially if you are going for a small concise controller and you're mostly playing 3D games. Alright, so let me go and unbox the Brawler 64. So this is another controller. It is a bit bigger than that one, and they say that this is mostly meant for 2D fighters or even 3D fighters, but it's that's why they call this Brawler or controller by retro fighters. So it's mostly meant for fighting games, but obviously you can play with this so here it is. Now compared to the Retrobit controller, the buttons are again very similarly sized, but the C buttons are actually a bit bigger. So that what makes it more accessible when you're trying to play fighting games. Another thing that this has is that it has these two extra buttons with which you can set up turbo, and you can clear the turbo function as well. So if you want to play 2D games like shoot 'em ups and fighters, then this is a much better choice because it's a bit bigger, more akin to the Xbox controller, so that's what it feels like. This D-pad is also a little bit more stiff. None of these click though, but this D-pad is way more different than the one that you get here. So this is a little bit less stiff, this is a little bit more stiff. I don't know which one I prefer, but either way this is a very nice controller. And another big thing with this controller is that this D-pad is way bigger than the D-pad on this. It's more closer to the original D-pad, although it's not as sticking out of the base of the controller, but it's size wise it's quite similar. So if you're looking for a controller which has turbo functions and a controller which is more akin for more readily usable with 2D games, 2D fighter games, then the Retro Fighter Brawler 64 is a better option than this one. But if you're looking for like a smaller one, smaller controller, more for 3D games, then the Retrobit Tribute is also nice. It is also accessible with all the accessories, and again it has 4 triggers here. This is the left and the right, and then these both are the same buttons, the Z button, so you can use either one for the same function. And last but not least, we have the Admiral from Hyperkin. Now the unique thing about this controller is that this is the wireless controller, so I haven't even unboxed this yet. And it's not only usable with the N64, you can also use it with your PC. So if you're emulating or you want to use the N64 controller with your PC, then you can definitely use this. Here it says that it's compatible with PC, Mac, iOS, so you can even use it with your iPad, I guess. So this is a very nice controller in that sense. So if you want more functionality and not just use your controller with just your N64, then this is the way to go. Now this one is black, that's the color I chose. Alright, so first of all it comes with a USB. It's the regular USB, it's not USB-C. And then this is the dongle that you would plug in into your N64. And then here we have access to, so this is a memory card slot where you can then upgrade the firmware on the controller. We have the sync light, we have the sync button, and we have this wire where you can, I think you can also connect it, and we'll see. And then this looks like the slot that the N64 uses for its accessories. So maybe you can use this for the memory card, but it would make no sense to use rumble back with this, because it would, instead of rocking your controller, it would rock your N64, and I don't think we want that. But you can use your memory cards here, so plug it in here instead of plug it in your controller itself. So that's a negative thing about this controller. So you can't use all the accessories with this, but other than that, it's a very nice controller. Now first off the bat, you can see, maybe, yeah, so it gets stuck there. The quality is not as good as I would have hoped for, so I don't know, maybe I can return this for a refund, but you can see it comes back. But if I click here, then it gets stuck there. So quality is not there. Quality control needs to improve with the Hyperkin. And this is not as good as the Retrobit. Retrobit is very nice. Even the Brawler is very nice. So this is not very good. This stick is not very good, and that was one of the main thing why you would be playing N64. Other than that, the A and B button are nice. These are, the C is also quite big. The D-pad is very similar to the original and the Retro Fighter Brawler, but it makes a lot more noise though, I don't know. So the buttons are way more clicky. This stick is not as nice and it gets stuck there, but I think that your controller might not have this problem. I might open it up and see what's going on and give you an update if I do that. But there's that. Then the triggers, the Z triggers, the left and right, that's there. We have the charging port and then the seek button here. So the battery is not removable, so you would have to just use what is in there. But other than that, I like this controller. So it's kind of like the middle ground between the Brawler and the Retrobit. So with this, I think you can play 2D games easily, more easily than you could with the Retrobit. But if you are looking for a 2D controller, then this is the best one. So there you have it, guys. So these were some of the controllers which are available on the market right now for the N64. So which one is my favorite? I think my favorite one is this one, because I've always been the HoriPad for the N64 has always been my favorite controller of all time for the N64. I don't have it. I've used it before, but I don't have it, and I don't want to spend over $100 to get that one. So when I heard about this one, I had to get this one, and I have been using this the most. And I have no complaints. I prefer this over the original N64 controller as well. But when I am doing my fighting games or I'm playing a 2D game, and then I prefer this one, which is so there you have it, guys. So these are the controllers, and just let me know which one is your favorite, which one would you go with, and if you wanted a replacement N64 controller, and let me know in the comment section below. And also, if you could like and subscribe, and click that bell icon, it would really help the channel a lot. I really need you guys to spread the word and like and subscribe, and help me grow the channel. Thank you, guys, and you have a nice day. Bye bye.